What's going on, guys? It's Tang, and we're doing a comic book vlog for August 26th. At this point, I don't know if it's useful to say the dates because I'm going to be late in these vlogs, but we're just going to talk about stuff that I've read and hopefully enjoyed. So, with the first batch of comics we got Zombie Tramp stuff. So here's Zombie Tramp. What is this? 14. TM Choose variant, along with some others. Yes, I like the comic series, and I bothered to buy a lot of the variants. Risque version, David Mendoza version, and for this issue, Janie is still on her trip to Florida, and on the way she finds a country club, and she basically relaxes there while also showing off her assets. But apparently the country club is run by some cultists who use it as to lure unsuspecting females to sacrifice them to their great satanic demon and whatnot. But as Janie is relaxing, she has a dream, or a nightmare, of all the people she's killed, the bosses and pimps and whatnot, and they drag her into the pool that she's relaxing on. But it was a dream, and when she does wake up, she finds that the cultists have dressed themselves up as KKK members and they're going to sacrifice her. And she reveals her the truth about her being a zombie, and they decide to try to kill her for being a witch. And it ends with her on the run with them chasing her. And this issue is different artist who is doing it. I'm not sure if I like it. It does the job, but it's very colorful, I do have to say. It's very green and red and brown. But it was good for what it was. Still retained that personality of Zombie Tramp. Next up is a good one, Lady Mechanica issue 0 for, I guess, volume 2, right? This might just be... it's volume 1, issue 0. Oh, so they re-released it. Okay. With this one, okay, so we actually get to explore the character, get some backstory, being that she has amnesia. And for this issue, it is Friday the 13th, so in the headlines, there is a creature terrorizing the city, and so Lady Mechanica takes it upon herself to hunt it down, which she does. She finds it, it looks like a cat with mechanical limbs. She does, tranquilize it, and finds out that it can talk. And apparently they were previously associated when Mechanica was younger. She actually named the creature, but before she could learn more about herself, asking questions and finding who did this to her, the creature is shot. And Mechanica, very angry that she was so close to knowing who she was, does punch the guy who shot him. And the guy in charge, who wanted the creature for experimentation, sees that the creature and Mechanica are basically the same thing. His name is Blackpool, and he wants to experiment to progress technology in this world. He's a very progressive man, and he kind of sicks the men on her, but she beats them up. And while he's trying to get away, she shoots him in the leg and beats him up. And since I haven't read the previous issues, probably from 0 to 3 of the volume 1, so it was nice to see that I could get the issue. I was gonna buy issue 0 online, but it was bundled up with issue 1, so glad to know I have it as an individual issue. And the art is good. It is beautiful. The guy who does the art does such a good job and makes the character very intriguing. It's very much like, I feel very much like Lady Death in Steampunk. but for most part, it was extravagant. It was good, kind of dark, but that's the idea of her character. She's a kind of a dark character who has some fun. Well, she's dark in the term of her backstory. And it was basically to advertise that it's getting a trade paperback. I'm thinking that was the reason why this got a re-release. I hope. Okay, Spawn 255 for this one. Al gets the deal from the female demon to surrender the symbiotes. And the female demon will give his life back, make him human, give back Wanda. But Al refuses and slashes at her face, cuts off her arm, takes away her ability to change back into a human, and gives her a message that he's coming for Satan. Anyway, next up, he then attends Wanda's funeral and visits later on in the night Terry, who is Wanda's current husband and who has had children with him. And Al kind of asked where she was going when she died, and it was to go to an interview with some TV station, I believe. And Al then gives them a protective light that will, protect the family from the demons for probably the rest of their lives. We'll see. But at the end, we see that female demon gives that message to Satan. I believe it's Satan. Right? Whatever, it's the head demon, but I'm pretty sure it's Satan. Anyway, the art is... So, as well as Lady Demon, who has good art, this also has good art. And I like how he does it. It's always kind of colorful and very monotone in colors, but I like that. When it changes from scene to scene, he always uses like a monotone type of color or variant of that color, and it looks good, and so I liked it. Next up is Swords of Sorrow, Red Sonja and Jungle Girl. Now for this one, this is the guy who does the Lady Demon art from a few months back, and for this one, Lady Hell is just trying to freeze Jaina's world. Wow, did it freeze? No, okay. And what do I say? Trying to freeze Jaina's world, but Sonya and her are gonna work together to try to take her down. But during the issue, there's a kind of a romantic interest with this guy and Jaina. He's from the Water Tribe, and we see the attractiveness. We see Jaina's attraction to him, and Sonya is trying to kind of corrupt her, making like sexual jokes and whatnot, and trying to corrupt her by making her curse. And I find it like, okay, so for those who are more used to the serious Sonya, so people might be kind of off-put by this big sister role that Sonya has in this series, but I kind of like it. It's complemented by the very cutesy art that the artist does, and I just found it cute, and it was really intriguing. And in the end, they all set off to defeat Mistress Hell, or Lady Hell, who is the replacement for Lady Death since Chaos got bought out by Dynamite. But I found it really good, and I'm really looking forward to the next issue. Next up is Sword of Sorrow, Pantha, and Jane Porter. Now okay, so Irene Adler's from Tarzan, and Pantha is a ancient Egyptian priestess. So she is transported to England in Jane Porter's time. Excuse me, Jane Porter's from Tarzan. And there is the misunderstanding that Pantha brought the demons from her world, but they find out that it was Purgatory, another Chaos character, and they decide to work together to defeat her. And there's it's basically Pantha learning about this world. She misunderstood what boxing meant. You know, she thought boxes as in literal boxes instead of boxing, punching. And she learns about planes, cars. It's a very short, you know, we don't get to see much of that because it's like a 32-page issue, but we kind of we hint at it, and we see a little bit of Pantha learning about the world. I found that alright. Art is okay, subpar, not caring about it much, but the interaction between the two were decent enough for me to keep reading, and it was alright. And they end with Pantha staying in this world that will tie into Swords of Sorrow, the main series. Okay, next up is Aliens vs. Zombies. Okay, the aliens are continuing their fight against the zombies on Earth. Their big zombie eliminating weapon is stuck in the cemetery, crash landing into it when their ship went down. So they take shelter in like a bar where a bunch of these criminals, except 2 are probably morally good criminals, and with a misunderstanding they almost try to kill each other. Well, the humans try to kill the aliens, but the aliens are really strong and whatnot. But they decide to work together, head for the cemetery, and hopefully I'm expecting some deaths from the human sides. We also got to see some aliens die, so the aliens aren't totally immune to the zombies. And the main alien chick is a survivor. Her planet previously was infected by the zombies, and she had a daughter as well who I assume died, and now she's become a very strong survivor, but very, very harsh. You know, like Mad Max, Fury Road, when they became very primal in that way. But it was alright for the most part. Next up is Coven, issue 2. I have 2 covers. I like this one better. This one is Baba Yaga, something like that. The main witch of this series. Her, what I assume, daughter or very close friend is captured. I'm pretty sure it's a daughter. She's captured by some Templar knights, and apparently they want to use her for something. Baba decides that she needs to work with her previous associate witches, but she wants to, rat them out, betray them to the Templars to get back her daughter, which she does. She knocks out a witch that accompanied her into the Templar base, and so she sides with one of the big bads and goes to get her daughter. But the witch that got knocked out wakes up and can shapeshift and gonna kill some people, yeah. But it was alright. Art was, for Zenscope, this art was better than most. Probably better than Wonderland, how Wonderland usually does it. Might be the same artist though. Not sure. Next up is Oz, Reign of the Witch Queen. I don't know how I feel about this one. I thought it was alright. So Dorothy is fighting the knight, and they have him in a trap surrounded by hinges, and they use the hinge to drain his energy, but it doesn't seem to work. So Tin Man decides to dissipate the energy into the Stonehenge himself, but it freezes him, so he sacrifices his life for it. But apparently it was all trapped by the Green Witch, because now Dorothy is evil. Somehow the green magic takes her over, and now she's evil and reunites with her mother at the castle. And boy, now next issue is probably going to be trying to snap her out of it. But art was good for the most part. The covers actually look better than the actual art, which is kind of sad, but whatever, it's alright, because the story is intriguing. You don't read it for the art, but it'd be nice if it had good art too. Next up is John Carter, Warlord of Mars. This one I'm not going to talk too much about. It's basically Tars Tarkas. His daughter is telling a story about him looking for John and Deja. But on the way, he fights a desert spirit, has his butt kicked, but eventually prevails. And it's nothing much, but it was alright. Next up is 4 Points. The 4 Points is kind of going it down the X-Men route, with the 4 characters fighting the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. The main girl has like a helmet that makes her look like Professor X, but she doesn't have a wheelchair. But Famine does show his face, well, more like his powers show up, kind of affecting these women who are all anorexic and skinny. Anorexic and skinny, or they don't eat their skin and bones, but basically. And the girls go to deal with the situation, knowing they basically deal with the situation, take out some of the girls, but without killing them, and find Famine, beat him up, take him captive, to learn more about the other 3 horsemen. And they save the day. Girls are returned back to normal, non-skinny, and looking healthy. Yeah. Next one is Pussycats issue 4. I'm not gonna talk too much. It's basically, if you watch Live Free and Die Hard with Bruce Willis, I believe, it's basically like that. This is the last issue of this volume. Unless they decide to continue it. But the prostitutes reunite with the main nun, who admits that the situation is caused by her. So they go and deal with the Russian mafia mob and beat them up with the help of some soldiers and have their way with them. Yeah, it's very adult, very risque, a lot of nudity. But I exactly didn't like it. The art is black and white. You can only do so much. It's very hard to tell characters. For me, it's hard to tell. I can't remember a single one of their names. And it was subpar at best. If you like Live Free and Die Hard type stories where dealing with some foreign enemy, this is for you. If you like tits, probably won't like it. Right? Yeah, it's subpar. Anyway, I think that was it for all my comics. I think so. Yep, okay, that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, or subscribe, or comment down below. If you want, please follow me on Twitter or Google+. I think that's all I had to say. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya!